Good morning everyone. In today's video, we're going to finish part C, the development and struggle of the Communist Party from 1927 to 1936. Last class, we talked about the CCP's internal rivalries between the Politburo and Mao Zedong. We talk about the rural revolution and the urban revolution, and we talk about the reason why they instructed different kind of revolutions. But at the same time, you need to know that the nationalists, they constantly tried to crush the Jiangxi bases. So in this video, we're going to talk about the Kuomintang, their encirclement campaigns, and the long march of the Red Army. Started from the White Terror, Chiang said he put great efforts in suppressing the Communist Party. From 1930 to 1934, he launched 5 campaigns of encirclement and extermination against the Communist Party. But thanks to Mao Zedong and Zhuge's leadership, the first 4 campaigns all failed. So let's check about Mao's military wisdom. Welcome to Mao's military lesson. His military wisdom can be concluded into the following 3 strategies. Firstly, the mobile guerrilla tactics. Lure the enemy deep into the base area where the Red Army could amass superior forces to attack the enemy's weak spot. So actually in this tactics, it includes 3 parts, right? Firstly, you need to set the trap, a base area. Secondly, in this base area, you need to prepare a superior force to attack them while they were in your trap. And last but not the least, you need to identify their weak spot, right? So basically, it means that you need to be unpredictable and fully prepared, like be water, right? So the second military strategy is circling around in a whirling motion. That means your movement should be unpredictable to confuse the enemy and to win the battle. Last but not the least, assure elimination of a part, small or large, of the enemy's forces by picking them off one at a time. That means you need to have focus. It's a little like blitzkrieg. Well, the first step of blitzkrieg is to identify a weak spot, right? So here is like also the same thing. So maybe the enemy's force have many different parts and different, like it can be small or large. But instead of taking all different parts from the enemy force, you need to identify one part. It can be small or large, but you're going to put your most effort into this part. That means identify the weak spot and focus your forces to eliminate that weak force. But you have to see, right after Mao had resisted the 4th campaign, at the same point, a critical power struggle developed within the communist camp. Mao under suppression within. The Politburo members were doing their best to destroy him from within. So what happened is, in late 1932 or early 1933, Paul Koo and other CCP Politburo members with a Kuomintang military advisor, they arrived in Beijing with intention of discredit Mao and replacing his men in the army and the party. So, although Mao was able to retain his chairmanship of the Central Executive Committee, but this post has become an honorary title. Honorary title means it's just like a name. He's just like a puppet, has no solid power, right? So by the 28 Bolsheviks, who intend to make Mao a figurehead. Figurehead is just like the same meaning as the honorary title. That means only have the name but no solid power. And Mao was even under home arrest for 3 months from July to October 1934. These internal conflicts greatly weakened the unity and the strength of CCP. Because meanwhile, the nationalists, they were organizing a 5th campaign. So you need to see at the same time the growth of the nationalist army with the help of Germany. after the dismissal of the Russian military advisor in 1927. Why they dismiss the Russian military advisor in 1927? It's because it's the start of the White Terror when they start their Kuomintang encirclement campaign against communist members, right? So since they broke up with each other for the First United Front, of course, the Russian military advisor will be dismissed. So Chiang, he increasingly sought to obtain German aid instead for the development of his army, beginning with the appointment of the associate of General Ludendorff during the First World War, who was the Colonel Max Bauer from 1928. He came to China to help Nanjing government to build a German-style army. And in 1933, the famous strategist General Hans von Seeckt also arrived, who was to coordinate the campaign, the encirclement campaign against the communists, and in the following years, he assured the direction of the mission. But when Poor House obliged him to resign in 1935, General Alexander von Falkenhausen took the job. Through the efforts of these advisors, Chiang Kai-shek he developed a German-style central army of more than 500,000 men. So consoled by his German advisors, Chiang Kai-shek he adopted a strategically offensive but tactically defensive posture. That means instead of defeat the enemies in a fast pass like the Blitzkrieg, the lightning war, he tended to do this progressively by moving his troops gingerly and relying on encirclement and progressive economic strangulation. What does it mean by encirclement? Encirclement means once they advance in a place, they will construct fortresses and pillboxes. And with this kind of encirclement, since the red areas are blockade, there's no outside supplies can reach them. So the Red Army will finally be exhausted with no supply. So on the other side, what is progressive economic strangulation? It was based on his claim on the communist problem at 70% political, while only 30% military in nature. That means the Communist Party, they were strong, not only because Mao's military strategies, his military wisdom, also because their ideologies of eliminating the landlords, attacking the rich peasants, neutralize the middle peasants, and ally the poor peasants. This kind of idea were very popular in their Jiangxi bases. And also, it made them gain huge support from the peasants in there. So for nationalists, a progressive economic strangulation can be very important. It can help them to win support, to win over people's heart, right? Not only that you're capturing that place, you also need to win people's hearts so people they will cooperate with you. So as a result, after they reconquered those areas, Chiang stressed rural construction and also neighborhood organization. The campaign is progressed slowly but steady. So after these two slides, you can see Mao faced an extremely critical situation at this point of his career. Not only were the Politburo members were doing their best to suppress him, to make him a figurehead, also the nationalists, they were hitting hard by their new strategy, right? And also their German-style army. This is a part of the reason why the Fifth Campaign routed the enemy from their 7-year-old base in Jiangxi. So at some point, Mao recognized that if they continue to defend Jiangxi base, would prove suicidal. There's no way for them to win over the other side. So they need to make a choice. In the party, some of the members, they claim that they should stay and die as revolutionary heroes. Just like what they will have in the Bolshevik Revolution, right? A lot of people died before the revolutions. They are like heroes. So we should, like those heroes, just sacrifice our life to show how determined we for the revolution. while some others saw that they should escape, right? Where there is life, there is hope. So the bottom line is that they need to stay alive, even though escape is not a really good word for them to show to others. So for CCP, they finally decided to start the long march, that is to escape. But when they decided the long march, instead of telling people that they were escaping from Kuomintang's encirclement campaign, they claimed that they have chosen to march north was to resist the Japanese incursion. Like here, the Chinese Red Army of workers and peasants has chosen to march north to resist the Japanese incursion. So now I'm playing a video about the Long March.
The Long March of the Chinese Red Army. All the Red Army men were very young before the Long March. They used to be workers, peasants, students, intellectuals, peddlers, or KMT soldiers. They fought to change the destiny of China. From October 1934 to October 1936, in order to smash KMT's military encirclement so as to fight against Japanese invaders in the north, led by the CPC, the 1st, 2nd, 4th Route Armies, as well as the 25th Army of the Red Army, set out the Long March. At different times and via different routes. The 1st Route Army started the 1st. When breaking through KMT's 4th blockade line, they fought bloody battles, with the number dropping from 80,000 to 30,000. They indeed suffered great losses in fierce battles. Zunyi meeting was held on January 15, 1935. New military leadership was established. New strategy reversed the passive situation. After crossing the Chishui River for 4 times and crossing the Jiangxi River, the Red Army broke out enemies' encirclements. However, the path ahead was extremely dangerous. The Luding Bridge over Dadu River consisted of 13 iron chains. The bridge floor was removed. 22 warriors climbed the chain at the risk of a hail of bullets and stormed the opposite bank. Snow mountains at the eastern edge of Qinghai Tibet Plateau are notorious for severe cold, oxygen deficit, and constant windstorms. The Red Army climbed over 8 mountains, each with an elevation over 4,000 meters. Full of swamps, Songpan grassland is virtually uninhabited, with virtually no food in the stomach. About 10,000 soldiers died there. From autumn 1934 to October 1936, the Red Army overcame innumerable trials and hardships during the 12,500 km maneuver. They finally broke through KMT's pursuit and interception. Joined forces in contiguous area of Shanxi-Gansu-Ningxia border area.
So after the video, I think we can make some conclusions on the political significance of the Long March. Firstly, it's a time when the concept of martyrdom was enshrined in communist lore. It's kind of comradeship. That means a brotherhood among the survivors created. From 1949 to the mid-1900s, all the leaders of People's Republic of China were veterans of Long March, right? For example, Mao Zedong, Zhu De, Zhou Enlai, etc. And among all these veterans, Mao Zedong was emerged from the Long March, especially after the Zunyi meeting in 1935. Now he's with greatest prestige among his fellow communists. He has achieved a remarkable supremacy in the military and political councils of the CCP. And last but not the least, after the Long March, they have set another base, that is in Yan'an. Now it provided a base for CCP growth. So we finished talking about the part C. Next class, we're going to focus on the formation and collapse of the Second United Front. See you next time.